Hello, BookTube friends. Before we get started into video, I want to tell you guys to, I see that we have a consistent little gaggle of 20-ish people watching all the BookTube videos. So I want you to watch, but also tell me what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are there things that you want me to read or talk about? Do you have suggestions? Can I just toot my own horn really fast? I did a mask yesterday. Look how shiny my skin is. My God. Like, y'all have seen me look kind of crusty, kind of dusty on this channel. The skin is popping. Can I just say that? You could just leave a comment and tell me how nice my complexion looks today. You don't have to talk about books at all. But anyway, we're starting a new series on this channel, and you know I'm so consistent with series that I start on this channel. You know that this is going to be consistent, but this is going to be consistent because I actually have like a backlog. If you follow me on Goodreads, I have like a backlog of tons of stuff that I haven't like talked about at all on BookTube. So I kind of, this is going to be like a way for me to like unload my backlog because my favorite genre is thrillers. So much so I started a good, see, that's a whole different separate video. I started a meetup group called Thrillers, Chillers, and Killers. And my series that I'm trying to start right now is called Thriller Thursday. Today's Thursday. Hello. Thrillers, Chillers, and Killers. You can join. I don't know if you can. I don't know if. Well, our meeting is going to be on Zoom right now. So, like, even if you're like not where I live, I think you can look me up and join. But that's a whole separate conversation. I want to talk about, let's see, thrillers, chillers, killers. Give me an example of thrillers. First of all, can we just talk about the series that I did on, what is it called? What is it called? Big Sky. Girl, I already blanked it. I'm like pushing it out of my mind because I don't want to watch anymore. Yeah, that show was based on a book series. I did not even try to pick it up, but maybe I'll talk a little bit about some shows and stuff on Thriller Thursday. We'll see. I don't know. Let's not get too ambitious. Let me just get through what we're gonna do today. And what we're gonna do today is talk about the Dervla McTiernan. This whole first video is just going to be about how I became a Dervla McTiernan fangirl. Like, I am her #1 fan at this point. I've listened to 2 of her novels and 2 of her little exclusive novella things that she did for, she did one for Audible, and then she did one for like subscribers of her newsletter. Anyway. But the first thing I read by her is called The Scholar. And The Scholar was about a young girl named Caroline. I thought her name was Caroline, but it's just Caroline. A small distinct difference. And she's the heir to Darcy Therapeutics. Now, therapeutics is like medicine and medical stuff, but I felt like they were doing something also with genes. I don't remember exactly what the science was. Let me not embarrass myself there. But so it's about, it's a series. Her series is about Cormac Riley, and he's a detective, and he's in a relationship with Emma, who also works at Darcy Therapeutics. And the girl that gets murdered is not Caroline. Is not Caroline Darcy, but she looks like her and has her ID badge. So Caroline Darcy kind of gets folded into the mix, okay? So that's the basic premise. So there's a girl who gets killed. Emma finds her body. McCormick is, her, why am I saying McCormick? Cormac is her, McCormick is the spices. Cormac is her boyfriend, so he finds out about all the stuff. And it's just good. It's really good. It's her books, and this is what I was saying on Goodreads, if you look at my little reviews and stuff. Some psychological thrillers are like action thrillers. Some psychological thrillers are pure murder mystery. And then some psychological thrillers are like character study, serious dramas. Dervla McTiernan is like a mixture of the second two. So she's like partly like a murder mystery, but partly like a character study and like a serious drama and all of the like interpersonal connections that lead to like, why do people get killed, and it's so good. I'm like, that's what I like. I love that about her writing, and her writing is so interesting. I love that it's opening me up to, like, of course I've never been to Ireland. They're set in Ireland, and I'm like learning all of the like politics and Irish police and all their stuff going on over there. It's like you get little tidbits of so many layers that keep it so interesting, and I just love it. I just love how she writes. I love how she like it's, and I wrote that it makes me sad. Like the book was sad in the end when you really look at the dynamic between Cormac and Emma and his job, her job, their journey of their relationship, and then Caroline Darcy and her relationship with her. He's a horrible guy. Her evil, horrible grandfather. It really it's deep, it's layered, it's good, it's like an onion, it has layers. But it's good, it's good. I love her writing, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's so good. And she just keeps you going. Like the mystery keeps you pulled in, the relationships keep you pulled in, her style keeps you pulled in. She creates like the world of Ireland. Even if you've never been there, you get like what is this small town on the countryside like versus Dublin or whatever. So she she's a good writer, period. So that was the first thing I read by her. I totally loved it. Then the next thing I read by her was The Sisters. The Sisters. No, this is... Did I read The Sisters first? No, I did not read The Sisters first. I read The Ruin next. The Ruin. Now, The Ruin is actually the first one in the series. Hold on, is it? Yeah, it's the first one with Cormac Riley. So it kind of jumps back in time in the beginning of the novel, and he finds a body when he's a very new kind of police officer. They call it Garda. So he's a very young Garda police officer, and he finds a body, and there's two young kids in the house with the woman. It's their mom has passed away, and there's a whole mystery surrounding that. Then they jump forward back to like the present day, 20 years later, and there's so many layers to what happens to the two kids, the sister and the little brother. The little brother ends up dying too. And so they're trying to understand what happened to the little brother. And there's the brother's girlfriend is pregnant and she's a doctor and all this stuff. It's really good. Again, the layers, the world building, everything. Like, people usually say world building for like fantasy and stuff like that has to be in a different realm. But like Dervla McTiernan just creates a great atmosphere for you to understand the complexities of people's everyday life and different walks of life that you've never been in. Isn't that what we like in books? Like, I get to travel the world without leaving a step out of my front door, la la la, all that flights of fancy, But yeah, this one was really good. Again, it was somewhat sad, but this one had a slightly happier ending to it. I don't know. But anyway. And the emotional moment towards the end between two of the characters kind of not reconciling, but like understanding each other and having that conversation. I'm just like, I love that she included that. Like, then like, you know what? You go, Dervla. I'm in love with her writing. She's just so good. And then the other thing that she wrote that I read, I listened to all these, by the way. They're all the same. I believe they're all the same narrator woman. I can't say her name, so I'm not going to try. It looks like Alfie, but that's not her name. But the next one she did, this one is like the first of two. She has two little novellas out there, and this is one of them. They're actually kind of hard to get. I actually listened to this on YouTube. which doesn't sound legit, but it's like someone uploaded basically the whole audiobook on YouTube. It was under somebody's library. So like somebody's local library did this. I don't know if that's legal. As someone who's studying to be a librarian, I'm like, I don't know, girl. But she doesn't have ads on it. So I'm like, a lot of stuff is legal when you don't make any money off of it. So I don't know, man. I don't know, but I don't know about this reproducing of people's work. I don't know. I don't know about that. So it's like 3 hours long. It doesn't feel like 3 hours. First of all, I listen to audiobooks. My sister says it sounds like a chipmunk, but I think I have to look it up, but I think that your brain adjusts. So I start off at like 1.25 because I'm impatient to listen. And then I usually creep up to like 1.5 to 1.65. I've never listened past 1.75 before. But I only listened to 1.75 like when I was rushing to finish what is it called? The Starless Sea, because it's so long for book club. But I listened to all the books. The audio book, oh my gosh, I unrated it. Why did I do that? Anyway, the books are really good. It's like really short. Maybe I'll leave a link down below to this illegal copy that's on YouTube so you can get a taste. It's really, I love her. I love her books. Look on the Libby app because I listened to both her novels on Libby app, which is from my library. So look on Libby app if you have Libby app where you live. I'll leave a link below to this one. So The Sisters is kind of like a different adjacent story. And because I listened to all of the books and didn't read them, I don't remember if one of the characters is like a young version of someone who shows up later with Cormac. I think Carrie Ryan I think that Carrie Ryan is a female detective that ends up being in the Cormac series with Cormac. But anyway, so it's about Carrie Ryan and her sister who is a lawyer. So her sister is like a defense lawyer, a young up-and-coming defense lawyer. This is set in like the 90s. And so the sister is like a young up-and-coming divorce lawyer, defense lawyer, and she is like a young up-and-coming Garda police officer. And they butt heads a little bit, but eventually they kind of end up on the same side trying to figure out who murdered a girl in their town, a guy. So Carrie's sister ends up being the defense attorney. She ends up being the defense attorney for the guy who's accused of murder. And Carrie is not assigned to investigate because she's young. She's not a detective, but she butts her nose in. And between the two of them, they figure out who did it. And Carrie, puts the screws to the person who did it and gets the person to confess. And I'm like, ooh, I love this sister dynamic. I hope she revisits the two sisters and them butting heads on being on different sides of the legal system. That's really interesting. I love her writing so much. And she's all about she always has the people who commit the murder have interesting motives, and the mystery is interesting, how it unravels, how things come about. It's just, I don't know. This is my little author study on Dervla McTiernan. So that one was really good. And this is what I'll say. And I want to compare it to, I was reading a little bit of Karen Slaughter too. That's a different week. That's next week. And you know what? I might do Karen Slaughter literally next week. But Karen Slaughter had a short story that she did, which felt like the beginning chapters of a novel. But this short story felt like a full story. This is 3.5 hours long. Not 3.5 hours long. It's much shorter than that, especially if you listen to it a little faster. It felt complete because you got a beginning, middle, end, and end. And the last thing I read by her was the other novella she did, and it's called The Roommate. Now, The Roommate, I have to say, out of all of her writing, this one was my least favorite. I love all of them. I would give all the rest of them 5 stars. I'd give this 4 stars because there's some continuity issues, because this is also supposed to be set. It's supposed to be a prequel to the Cormac series, but like the time period is wonky because the woman is a teacher and she's playing them Kids Bop videos. But also in the news is what's her name? Monica Lewinsky. So I'm like, Kids Bop didn't have videos in the 90s. And even if they did, what is she playing it on? First of all, Kids Bop was like, I know I sound like a Kids Bop historian. Kids Bop was invented in 2001. You know, like, no, but I don't know when it's supposed to be set. Because Kids Bop wasn't invented until the 2000s. But what's her... I don't remember why Monica Lewinsky... Monica Lewinsky was in the news again in the 2010s because she had like an anti-bullying campaign. But that's not... I just felt like, you know, this is one of those things that wasn't... It's not like a novel. This was one of the things that was a free audio novella for subscribers to the newsletter. So this was basically like a freebie extra in between novels type deal. So I don't think that she put them kind of meticulous care. Like, these are just little things that she could have fixed in a like second or third draft or whatever. So she just needed to nail down the time period. But this is basically about a girl whose roommate gets murdered. She doesn't know the roommate very well. And it's a young Cormac. Again, he's young and he's not the detective. And he's not detective yet. But the time period where it would have to have been is like in the like 2007, 2008 time period. I don't really know. It's just a little bit wonk. But Monica Lewinsky wouldn't have been in the news in that time period because she didn't really make the news again until the 2010s when she started that anti-bullying campaign. You're probably like, who cares? It's a minute detail. Like I said, I would still give this one 4 stars. So her roommate gets murdered. She doesn't know much about her roommate. And she kind of gets thrown into the middle of this whole situation. And the narrator is an interesting character. I forget about her now. But, yeah, she's a teacher, and it was good. It was good. This one was good. Maybe I would give it more like 3. Just showing Goodreads. Maybe I would give it more like 3.5 stars instead of 4, but like closer to 4. Maybe 3.75. Like, I just think like this is okay. But her other novels are excellent. Like, even her other novella was excellent compared to that one. And her most recent one, she has another one that I haven't picked up yet. And I haven't decided if I'm going to buy, like, download the audiobook and buy it or wait for it to be on Libby app for free. But I think that I'm going to go ahead and get it. Did it just come out? Hold on. It just came out in March. Oh my god, I love her so much. This is the new. I haven't read this one yet. This is going to be my next read. And I'm hoping to read it with my GD book club. But you know how people sign up for Meetup and then they don't participate in the Meetup? They just sign up and then never come to any of the Meetups? Well, anyway. This is the end of the video. That's the whole Thriller Thursday. This is the first installment. I have a lot of things that I've been listening to on audiobook. I've listened to them so fast. I like don't make time to make videos on them. So we'll see. Let me know what thrillers you're reading, what you're reading in general. Comment down below if you've made it all the way to the end. Give me a little emoji. There's like a little, I don't know. What kind of emoji should we leave for the ending of this video? Just a book emoji. Let's just keep it simple. Let's just keep it trill, okay? Deuces. See you soon.